Yes, hello and welcome back once again to Club Prairie Fire, the home, yes, you know it, of tequila, Tabasco, and the mighty Duckworth Lewis Stern system. I am the Professor, your spiritual guide on this cricketing odyssey. 40 matches complete. Not many to go, not many at all. I think it's 8 left. This is the end of an unbelievable tournament, and it is now well and truly in sight. Today, I'm going to keep my intro as short as possible because we have the most massive guest lined up. So, in summation, India still sit on top. Well done, Australia are rooted to third spot, and lo and behold, a miracle for England. Huzzah! They have moved up to 7th. Goodness me. Goodness me. All right, let's bring these experts in nice and quick. Michael Vaughan in Mumbai, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Got back from the massive game yesterday. Huge win for England. They're going to qualify for the Champions Trophy. Exactly what they came to India for. Had a trip back from Pune with my driver. He burped all the way. Yeah, lovely driving. Thanks for 2.5 hours of burping. But yeah, I'm back in Mumbai.
Very good. Adam Gilchrist, Perth. Welcome to you. How are you?
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, it looked like quite the atmosphere there, Vaughany, at that venue. It was such a big game. It was, and good. I think we've already got our Minnow Achiever of the Week sorted with, for England to beat the might of Holland. That's a big upset. So, well done to them. But I'm good. I like, obviously the discussion point is around Glenn Maxwell's innings. Like most people in Australia, at 7 for 90, I switched it off, went to bed, said, what a bunch of losers. Went to bed knowing full well that my 149 in the World Cup final of 2007 is still safe as the best innings ever played in Australian ODI colours. So, woke up to quite a shock, didn't I?
You did indeed. You did indeed. And, mate, what a coup.
Yeah.
As much as you were in shock, and I know that you were upset, you reached out to your good friend Glenn Maxwell, and I'm about to bring him in. But before we do, Ollie, the producer, how are you? We won't do your update now, but you're good?
I'm good. Thanks for calling me an expert a minute ago as well. That's a lovely moment. The Smart Bee socials, they're coming shortly, Smart Bee. So, and they're all about Glenn Maxwell, obviously.
All about Glenn Maxwell. Okay, so Adam Gilchrist, in the competition that is getting the most outstanding guests on this program, you are a long way in front. And there is no one in the cricketing news more than this man right now. As if hitting the fastest century in World Cup history wasn't enough, he has only gone and doubled that feat with what many are calling the greatest innings in the history of not just ODI cricket, but the sport and all sport as a whole. It's the one and the only Big Show. Welcome, Glenn Maxwell.
Oh, yeah. Welcome.
Maxi, thanks for joining us. First things first, have you got any salt and water or pickle juice handy? We just don't want this interview interrupted with you writhing around on the ground, I guess is the best way to describe it.
Yeah, I've got a few fluids around me. I'm more a chance of being disrupted by the baby needing most of the stuff because apparently all the things that my wife needs is in this room, which was great planning. Just about to do a podcast for a while, I've had a couple of days to, I suppose, recover and reflect. It's been, quite bizarre and surreal over the last few days.
Maxi, I've got to jump in, mate. Congratulations. It is, I don't think it's an understatement to say it's the best, certainly best one-day international innings ever, bar none. There's no discussion about who else can compete with that. It's there's been some good ones. Well done, buddy. It was remarkable effort. It was quite the surprise I woke up to, like a lot of people in different time zones to India. Really happy for you. Really proud of you. Just the prof touched on the pickle juice there. Just wondering, have you ever tried tequila and Tabasco? It's called a Prairie Fire. That might help you alleviate those situations. Just as a little heads up, if you want to kick on to that sort of 250 mark.
To be fair, Gil, I'm one to actually try a few different things in that space. So I'd be more than welcome to try that because the pickle juice. I haven't had pickle juice since for about 10, 12 years now. So I've always been strictly against it. Nah, that's junk. I'm not having that. I'll just get some fluids in. And I felt like it was my last option because my body was sort of shutting down a bit. And I've forgotten how much it tastes like a McDonald's cheeseburger. And like, and I was like, I feel like this is the last thing I need right now. But yeah, no, it wasn't a fun tasting thing. I don't know why people always have it. It doesn't feel like it does anything. It didn't do anything for me, that's for sure.
Gilly, can I just jump in there? When you know, obviously, great to have you on, Maxi. I presume, Gilly, you were talking about Stokes' 108 last night, yeah, against the Netherlands.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, well done, courageous by him to guts it out. That looked like a dodgy deck. Doing a bit against strong opposition.
No, seriously, Maxi, I was there at the Wankhede. That was incredible. Now I want to talk about cramp. Now, cramp in certain parts of the body. You seem to have cramp in every part of your body. Which part of the body was the worst?
Well, the worst ended up being the calf, but it was about 3 or 4 overs before I fell down and did the full salmon. I felt I was about to face up to Rashid Khan, and I felt my middle toe on my right foot start to slowly bend back, and I was like, "Oh no!" And so I was sort of about to sort of face up to him, and I'm sort of looking at him, going, "Hold on!" And I was putting my foot in one of the footholes and trying to sort of stretch it out before I faced up. And the keeper's like looking at me, like, "What are you doing? Like, just face up, hurry up!" And I'm like, "Hold on a second, I'm cramping." And he's like, "Where?" And I said, "My toe." So as soon as that started to go, I knew I was in a world of trouble. It all sort of started. I had a few back spasms, sort of at the start, and I sort of knew my body was slowly sort of starting to shut down, and just needed a couple overs to have a rest at one end, and we were good to go.
Maxi, I noticed you got your 201. You celebrated out on the field, and an amazing moment. And then you walked off, and I realised that stadium in particular has the most number of stairs for you to walk up to exit a stadium. And I could feel the pain. I don't know if you realise this, but they filmed you trying to get up those stairs. I felt. What were you thinking when you faced those stairs?
Well, you're right. I was annoyed at the fact that I had to go up those stairs, but the most frustrating thing is the stairs that you still have to come back down to get on the bus afterwards. So even when you cool down, it's just as bad, and it feels like it just keeps going. It's a never-ending staircase, and then you finally finish those, and the stairs to get on the bus are so steep and high, and I can barely bend my legs. So it just felt like there was stairs and just issues in my way the whole time after I was off. I was like, "Oh, finally I don't have to bat anymore. I don't have to do any exercise." But it felt like there was more issues post game than there was like in the last few overs.
Hey, well, just on it, in a serious note, if that was at a venue, I was just reading with interest the physio's comments and the discussion around what you guys were going through with Pat out in the middle. Should you retire hurt? Shouldn't you? If it was change rooms that were at ground level, would you have gone off, do you think? Because didn't the phys say, no, getting you up and down those stairs, if you retire hurt, you're not going to be able to come back at all?
He sort of said if I went off and we got some treatment in a colder room, and I sort of started to cool down a bit, it'd be almost impossible to get back out there. My body probably would have sort of shut down a little bit, and it would have been impossible to restart. So we basically just came up with stay at one end for a little bit. We'll try and get some drinks in between most overs and try and sort of build up a bit of those lost stocks that you've sort of burnt out. And once I sort of had a few overs just to sort of stand there and chill out, I felt like I sort of started to feel a bit better. I could sort of shuffle down the other end and run a couple of quick singles as we were trying to call them out there. Balls trickling out to deep in wicket, and I'm just shuffling through. But yeah, it was really good communication, I think, from everyone. In my mind, like as soon as I hit the ground, I'm like, nah, I'm done here. Like I don't feel like I can get up. But once they stood me up and sort of talked me through it and calmed my breathing down, because you feel like you sort of go into a bit of shock when you cramp everywhere. Your back's sort of gone a bit as well, and I couldn't control my breathing. I felt like I was sort of going into shock, and once he sort of came out and talked me out of it, it was and sort of said, slow it down, and get back on your feet. Let's sort of talk about your options here. And there was nice, calm thinking from them.
Yeah, Maxi, I must admit, it's the first time I've ever seen a penguin bat fly. So that was well.
The first thing I thought about was Mark Richardson going down with cramps all those years ago. I was like, I'm going to be in that bracket. But at least you couldn't hear my screams over the stump mic. It sort of echoed to the annals of cricket.
Now, Maxi, I'm always interested because dressing rooms are always a sympathetic place. You've just played the greatest innings of all time. You walk up the stairs. You walk in. No doubt that have been cheering and all whacking you on the back. But what kind of remarks did you get from the players as you walked in the dressing room?
Yeah, there was more chat about my running techers in the last like 6 or 7 overs. Watching me shuffle with my feet like this far off the ground. I joked about that it looked like Jane Saville coming into Sydney, 2000 Olympics. But yeah, didn't really get much chat about me laying on the ground. They thought, a few boys thought you were absolutely dumb when you were laying on the ground and you were curtains. And Zamps was obviously stressing, sort of coming up and down the stairs the whole time in his full kit. Zamps was actually more tired than anyone. He had to do those stairs about 6 or 7 times. Thank goodness it wasn't at a Metabad. He would have been absolutely cooked.
And just how long did it take Marnus to mention the run out?
To be fair, I went to, mate, sorry about that. I thought there was an easy one there. He's like, no, don't apologise for anything. No. But I could tell in his mind he was thinking, that prick.
Yeah.
Just cost me 100. We would have got that done easy. He actually did say if we were both there, we would have got that done easily. And I was like, yeah, it's all right.
Maxi, I'm not sure if you heard Ian Smith's call but of the moment. He said, Glenn Maxwell, the most remarkable thing you'll probably ever see in cricket, and he shouldn't walk off the park. He should be carried off. Did you have a word with some of your teammates that surely they're coming to meet you, crowd surf, back up? I mean, that's my biggest problem with it.
Look, I've had some issues being suspended just off the ground, so I didn't want to bring any issues my way, especially with some hard flooring around. So I was pretty happy to keep my feet nailed to the ground on the way out.
Well, what the best way off, Maxi, would have been a golf buggy.
Yeah.
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 Now, that innings, Maxi, truly was something out of Hollywood, right? Surely the script writers are out there working on this. Can we just go through a few of the more magic moments from this innings, starting with you facing a hat-trick ball? And, I mean, we all forget about that now, but the very first delivery you faced was a hat-trick ball, and everybody appealed, thinking it was LBW. Did you know that you hit it straight away, or did you think they were carrying on?
I nicked it. I went, I can't believe that hasn't carried to the keeper. I've just nicked off on a hat-trick ball, and I turned around and went halfway there, and I was like, actually, I really hope they review this. And I sort of I don't know how to try and look guilty, but I sort of just tried to stare at him blankly, and I was like, yeah, come on, I don't know what happened there. Like, please don't review it. Like, sort of try and play the mind games with them. And they sort of looked around, and I went, bang, and I was like, oh, thank God, at least that's one down. And I suppose, especially with them, it felt like they were getting really emotionally involved. They were running around the batters a lot. They were sort of trying to get in our face as much as we could. And I just thought if they could make a couple of emotional decisions and maybe burn both their reviews early, it might just put them under a bit of pressure. They might start to get, I don't know, a couple of close LBW calls, and they feel their plum and go against them. You can sort of see the emotion sort of take its toll on a team, and they start to play on emotion and forget about the skill that they have. And just try to play an early mind game. And to be fair, I'm just happy to get past the first ball most of the time. So it was.
Well, then dropped twice. So dropped on 24 and then 33 there at short fine leg to Mujeeb. I mean, poor fella. He didn't know you were going to go on and make another 170. But as soon as you hit that, you think you were done?
Hey, that reminds me of that keeper from Durham, wasn't it, against Brian Lara?
Oh,
What's that one?
yeah. Look, he's probably going to go on and get 100 now. He got 5 of them.
Yeah, but it's a good point though, Prof. Yeah, you're not expecting another 170 to come under duress.
Yeah, to be honest, I wasn't either. So
Yeah.
I thought it might cost him another 30 or so, but yeah, I don't feel any sympathy for him because I feel like I've done that a lot of times where I've given chances and haven't made the most of it. So for the first time, probably in a long time, I've actually made the most of a chance and gone on with it. And I've always said, like, watching opposition teams that, like, they've got hundreds against us after we've dropped a couple of chances. I'm like, oh, batting's easy when you get a couple of chances, isn't it? And then to sort of have that, I suppose, couple of things go my way, it's exactly right. Batting's a lot easier when you get a couple of innings. It's quite nice.
Maxi, you mentioned, sorry, Gil, Afghanistan, that they were kind of at you, weren't they, as a team? Was there any reason why?
I think they actually wanted to win the game, Vaughany.
Good point.
Good punditry, Vaughany.
Yeah, good point.
I couldn't really work it out either. I'm like, what's going on here? They seem really excited for some reason, and the fact that we were 7 for 91 still couldn't really work it out. I'm like, why are you carrying on? Like, no. To be fair, the energy they had in those first 15, 20 overs was extraordinary, and we've seen that a lot from, I suppose, a lot of subcontinent teams. And one thing that I've always found, if you can sort of take the sting out of the game, almost take the emotion out of it a little bit. And it's not by runs; it's just by basically being there, and you play 1 or 2 shots in every couple of overs, and you can sort of see how flat it sort of gets out. You start to see a little bit of bickering, a bit of infighting, finger pointing, arms raising, like fielders not paying attention, and it can sort of start to, I suppose, unravel a bit. And I've been in teams where I've sort of seen it happen as well, where I'm looking around going, weren't we just on top like 20 minutes ago? And this bloke's played 2 shots and all of a sudden we've fallen apart. And it just felt like if we could, I suppose, build any sort of partnership, we might be able to, I suppose, give it a run a bit later on.
Well, you did build the partnership with Pat, obviously, and you've been very quick to acknowledge his hand. You got 12 off 60-odd balls and was somewhat of a calming influence for you. You say it's a team effort with the physio and everyone. Did I read somewhere you said it just felt like you and Pat were just trying to have fun, just to almost make light of it? And I thought I read you were telling each other dad jokes. So what was your best dad joke of the innings?
This goes without saying, but Pat is just such a brilliant person to have as your leader. And I think an innings and the way he treats his players as a whole, I think that was all basically coming out in the last game. The way he dealt with me, the way he spoke to me out there was literally 2 guys having a beer at the pub, talking about a game, watching on the TV, laughing, joking. What happened? He played and missed it one down leg side, and it went for a wide. I went down and said, "Don't worry, mate, we'll get it in extras." And then, like at the end of the over, he came down. And he goes, "Oi, they're 4 overs down. They're going to have 1 fielder in for the last 4. We'll get them then." And we've still got 200 to get. And at that stage, it was all just jokes. Like, it was all just like, we know we're probably not going to win this. Like, let's just stick it out, stick to our plans as long as we can. And who knows? But he was outstanding there the whole time. He kept a smile on his face. And I think the fact that we were smiling and having fun sort of sucked the emotion out of them. They were like, hold on, we're still here. We're still trying to play a competitive game of cricket. But we both didn't really buy into it. We didn't really give them too much. We were sort of in our own little bubbles and just having our fun. And it probably got a little bit funnier at the end when Paddy was sort of knocking him into deep mid-wicket. and we were both like screaming no at each other. Nah, I don't think I can make it. Nah, sorry, just stay there.
Maxi, the comedy continued on socials. I don't know if you saw that after what Pat wrote, but he wrote, a lot of credit should go to Maxi. He played his role beautifully.
And that's literally just his dry sense of humour, and it worked really well for me out there. Even like in our chats, we didn't probably talk about too much like specific game plan stuff, but even just the blasé, like dry humour that he has to me, like it just relaxed me so much. It felt like I could just, I suppose, just try and as naturally as possible stick to a game plan, but wasn't sort of thinking about too much in front. And I suppose when you're concentrating so much on each other out there and having fun with each other, everything can sort of happen quite organically and naturally. And I owe so much to him. I don't think anything like that could have happened without him.
Maxi, I mean,
brilliant.
Talking about the kind of the mentality out in the middles, Greg, how do you do it? How do you play all these shots? Because you seem to me that as soon as a fielder comes up at mid-off, you have the skill sets, wherever the ball is, to hit it over mid-off. If they bring a third up, you have the skill sets to switch around and flick it over there. But how do you do it?
I suppose it's just about once I get in, I feel like if I set myself early enough in my mind and sort of have a good idea of where I'm trying to hit it, I feel like my hands can sort of get me out of trouble if the ball's not quite in that area. And I sort of do give myself a few options, I suppose, for different lengths and all that sort of thing. But I'll use Mujeeb as an example earlier on in my innings, where all I did early was play one reverse sweep against Noor Ahmed to make sure the deep backward point was a little bit finer. And I knew that they'd have to have mid-off up at some stage. They couldn't keep mid-wicket up if he wanted to bowl his leggy and sort of try and challenge me on the inside. So I knew they'd have to bring mid-off up at some stage. So with that, I've got a gap either side of mid-off, either side of cover, and over the top. So as soon as they get wide outside off, I know I can use my hands to find gaps. So I set myself up for that every ball. And as soon as it's too straight on the legs, I go with it and work to the leg side and take a one to deep square or deep mid wicket, whatever it might be. But I'm setting up every ball to try and hit those boundary gaps and then adjusting with my hands as late as humanly possible to try and, I suppose, get at the other end.
Vaughany,
I think...
Sorry,
you go, Prof.
I was just going to say, Vaughany, are you asking that for a friend? Are you asking that for Joe Root by any chance?
Well, yeah. Joe nearly got one in the Goldens, didn't he? He wasn't far off wearing one last night.
It's an awful feeling, like, because I've done it so many times. Shocking, I know. I've done it so many times where you're going for a shot and you're like, oh, that is not where I thought it was going to be whatsoever. And it's just like the bailout. The bailout's just not quite the same feeling as what you've had even in your practice or previous games. And even one with Joe, I watched that from behind. It actually looked like it might have even just come in a bit, kept it a tiny bit low. And he's like trying to sort of like flick it up. But you're expecting when you try and play that shot, you're hoping the ball's through the channel, either a bit of bounce or really full and wide where you can sort of flick it up. As soon as it's at middle and leg, top of the stumps, it's probably the hardest. That's probably the hardest one to try and do it off. Yeah,
mate, it's interesting. I mean, that's where, Joe, you just walk in and say to your teammates, "What, you've never got a good one?" But I reckon
that's what I said after Pakistan.
Yeah. Well, you must have been mentally spent by the time you got out there in that game watching the two boys going off at the top. But they reckon the smog's heavy in Delhi at the moment. I don't know if you know, Maxi, around the top of Australia, the plumes of smoke coming out where every cricket coach is literally burning the book of technique of batting and footwork. Anything that's got footwork in it has been ripped out and burnt. You've totally taken, well, some would say you were taking the piss, but you've taken it to a new level of what's achievable by just, I assume, watching the ball as closely as you can, and then, as you talk about, it's just getting your hands through the ball.
Look, I think this has a lot to do with the positions I get myself on the golf course, where I'm stuck behind a tree and I have to like throw my wrists around, like I'm up against it and I have to like sort of flick it around. But even like little things like that, like I feel like it allows you to be inventive and test the boundaries. And one of the things I used to work on before every BBL game, going back about 8 or 9 years now, before every game, I used to do no foot drills, where the first 12 balls I'd face, I'd stand dead still, but try and hit them as far as I could, as basically a warm up. And whatever the length, I had to basically just hold my top body for as long as I could to sort of get the right trajectory, which I feel like I could hit a six. So working on that, I suppose, upper body movement without using your legs is actually a good way of obviously finding out where your ideal hitting point is. And I suppose going back to that, I obviously have to tinker a little bit with actually bowlers being able to not just bowl half volleys outside off stump, but bowl in different areas. So just, I suppose, relying on stuff I'd worked on in earlier years and trying to adapt as quickly as I could.
That's amazing. Amazing.
And Max, I mean, you've played a few shots in your career. You've always liked to be semi-aggressive, but I presume the innings on the Wankady was just purely to try and get in with the BazBallers. Is that right?
Well, interesting thing about the other night, I think my career World Cup strike rate went down after the innings, so it was a bit disappointing.
That's unbelievable.
So I've got some work to do to sort of bring that back to where I'd like it to be. I got reminded of a bunch of things that I'd never faced 100 balls in an ODI before, and a lot of other stats that I found quite funny. And I said, well, this is what my body shuts down after I face about 50 balls, which is normally where I like to sort of keep it in that sweet spot. So, but yeah, it's quite funny sort of watching all the things come through.
Now, while we are talking stats and playbooks and coaching techniques and that sort of thing, I think it's the perfect time to bring in our Player of the Round award. Now, we've got a few regular segments, Maxi, and one of them is Player of the Round. Now, yours was so good. They knew we were coming on and that you were going to get the award, but that we've actually got a new sponsor straight away. Like that, Glenn Maxwell comes on.
Whoa.
Brand new sponsor, yeah. So it's called PlayBook. And PlayBook is the place in Australia to find a sports coach or mentor, all sports, all ages, all abilities. It's all about you playing to your potential, whatever level that is. So you can play better with PlayBook. Visit playbook.coach to find out more. So it's all about learning techniques. I'm sure they've now got the Glenn Maxwell technique in there, which is just plant your feet and swing. Now,
well, Prof, on that, I reckon a bloke that's behind that business is certainly one of the founders was another fella that's entertained us a little bit around the time of particularly white ball cricket. I can see Maxi nodding there. That's Chris Lynn's mob, I think, isn't it, Maxi?
Certainly is, yeah. That's his baby.
Yeah, so I think the concept there, you can go on and there's basically a whole platform of athletes, high level coaches and athletes who you can try and request a coaching session from. So anyway, there we go. Thanks, Linny.
So normally, Maxi, we vote on the Player of the Round. Is everybody pretty cool if we give it to Maxi? Or Vaughany, have you got somebody else in mind?
Ben Stokes.
Pat Cummins.
Pat Cummins.
Look, I think, Stokes is laughable, really, Vaughany. Let's be serious.
I don't mind throwing in Marnus.
Hang on.
Marnus.
Well, I thought our last guest, three overs, none for 21 and a 4-ball duck. Old Rolly, he didn't quite get what he was after, did he? He was looking for the 200-run margin, wasn't he? And then, but anyway, no, I think, Ollie, you've got a suggestion, have you?
No, I'm very happy to give it to Maxi, but I'm sure you're a huge fan of the show, Maxi. There's another segment we have called Who Am I, where I identify someone who's going to have a great week. And I don't want to take all the credit, but I did name you before, and then you get your first ton record and do this. So how much credit do you want to give to Club Prairie Fire for your performances so far in the World Cup?
Yeah, lots.
Yeah. Look, it's between you and my family, and it's pretty 50-50 at the moment. So, yeah, I certainly appreciate the Who Am I segment.
There you go. That's what it is. Now, that is, again, thanks to PlayBook for the Player of the Round segment. Ollie, do you want to run straight into your Smart B socials here? We'll get through this nice and quick, and then we'll get back to Maxi.
Well, the Smart B socials are about Maxi, to be honest. Anyone was talking about your innings, and we had a few. So I think he's going to come on soon. Wazzy Makram came out with a tweet. This is easily the best ODI innings I've ever seen. Take a bow. We had Ben Stokes, who was runner-up.
He's a Saints supporter as well.
There you go.
Yes. Did you see that rather awkward interaction between Wazzy and Ross Lyon?
Him and Ross Lyon, yeah. That was for Ross's birthday. So it was like Ross is doing the presser, and then, it's Wazzy Makram. And then
the Sultan of Swing.
Yeah. How's your wrist?
Yeah, it was rather awkward, that one. But anyway, continue on, Ollie.
Sorry,
A runner-up of Player of the Round, My Goodness Maxi from Ben Stokes. Gilly, we had congratulations. Clearly the best ODI innings ever. He has been the most exciting player in the world to watch. One thing on Instagram got a lot of notice was Kevin Peterson. You had everyone saying congratulations, sharing pictures, but KP decided to share a picture of himself and just the back of your head with a love heart. So that was good of KP to give you a shout out as well. Did you spot that one?
Yeah, it was nice of KP to throw something out there, but we've got a lot of photos together, and probably wasn't a great one to pick.
Ollie, you had one more there, didn't you? And then I've got something to add to this.
Just from YouTube, this one. And it's about that. It's about people celebrating yourself or your family. And it was a comment on the back of an episode a few days ago with Mr. Martin. The comment says, fantastic podcast. We're all now followers. Memories and hilarious. That user is Gail Martin 6063, and I'm fairly sure that's Damien's mum going on picture who has commented saying what a great podcast it is. So I'm glad we've got all the viewers and positive comments there, and thanks to Smart B for that.
Yeah, very nice, the Martin family. They'll look after us. Hey, Maxi, there was obviously with good reason that social media platforms set alight. I was very subtle with my acknowledgement. I didn't go the cricketing picture. I put, given that you went the full salmon, I put a glass of salmon-coloured rosé up. I don't know if anyone caught on to why I was putting a rosé up there, but mate, of all you just thought I was on the gas again, did you? Maxi, of all the who's been the highest profile, most famous repost or person that's acknowledged it in your mind? Because, you know, I'm looking through, I saw Hugh Jackman's thrown it out there. There was one, I think, someone at the Def Leppard concert said the vocalist there paid tribute to you. I don't know how tight you are with those guys. But, anyone jumped right out that's really surprised you, mate?
Yeah, Wolverine was the one that I got pretty excited about. And I got a few messages from people going, holy shit, Wolverine is like, he's up and about for you. And I'm like, yeah, I felt the same thing. And it's actually quite funny because a few days before the game, my beard trimmer died halfway through shaving. And I actually had a bit of the Wolverine, like, sort of just shaved up there and a bit of fluff going on both sides. I'm like, not bad. I could go with this. So yeah, that was pretty amazing. And obviously the reach outs from Sachin was pretty amazing. And but yeah, it's been extremely overwhelming. And I was just saying to our media manager, our psychologist, said, I'm just used to blokes saying, yeah, it's good, but he's still shit.
He's pretty good, Max, but he always gives it away.
Yeah. Can't go on with it.
He'll throw it away, like, and I'm used to that. Like, it's, I feel a lot more comfortable with that sort of stuff than praise. So it's all right. I'm sure I'll do something over the next couple of games. I'll bring it back to normal.
Just on Def Leppard. They're a Sheffield band. Yorkshire band. Joe Elliott used to live down the street from me. Joe Elliott. Yeah, he's a big hitter, but it is all about recognition in Yorkshire, Max, isn't it? You know, it's about what you do in Yorkshire. And I've been saying on the podcast for quite a while, you can't be a great player or deemed in great category until you've got 100 in Yorkshire. Now, you've got how many in Yorkshire, Maxi?
I got one in Scarborough.
There you go.
Oh well, there you go.
Was it on a
what was that?
Tuesday? Was it on a Tuesday or?
Couldn't tell you. It was myself and Adil Rashid both got hundreds when we were like 5 for 40.
Oh,
yeah.
So
was it?
What's that? It was one of Adil Rashid's like 20 first class hundreds, and I remember we played against England a one-day team, and it was like, oh, Rashid's coming in at 11. He's got more hundreds than our top 6 combined, or something like that.
Maxi, to put that in context, Vaughany is refusing to say that Virat Kohli is an all-time great until he gets 100 in Yorkshire. He will not bend on this.
They're tough to get. Vaughany.
There you go, Maxi.
Well, I want to know Vaughany. What was the venue? You said you got to have the night at the venue first before you go out and play the next day at Scarborough.
Shades Wine Bar in Scarborough. I believe, Maxi, to be deemed a great, you've got to have had a night in Shades Wine Bar in Scarborough. You've got to have walked out at 4 a.m. and you've got to get the 100 the next day. If you can do that, you can put yourself in the great category. I'm not sure what time you went to bed before your 100, Maxi, but Scarborough, I'm saying it probably wasn't before 12. And you probably had fish and chips the night before out of a wrapper. That's usually the play in Scarborough.
Vaughany, I'm an ultimate professional. I was probably in the gym. I was doing my rehab. I had a nice salad. I was focused. I was watching highlights of like opposition bowlers to try and sort of get myself ready. No, I have no idea what I was doing. There's a good chance I had probably 12 pints of Guinness and found my way onto the field. Who knows?
Just quickly, as we move on from Maxi's amazing innings, I really enjoyed the call. I thought Ian Smith, I mean, we talked about how wonderful Mark Nicholas is at the big calls, but I think we can all agree that Ian Smithy is one of the all-time greats by the barest of margins, and his call of yours, Maxi, if you haven't had a chance to listen to it, you've got to. But I enjoyed Punter's comments straight after as well, which he said, I've seen him played a lot of cricket, Ian and Shane, and I've never seen anything like this. And the reason I ask is, I'm just wondering, has he already forgotten your innings, Gilly, in 2007? When you got 149 off 104 balls with 8 sixes and 13 fours. Is that gone?
I'm glad you brought that up, actually, because if you want to look at pitch conditions, that was a pig of a wicket over there in Barbados. That was, we talk about sticky dogs on a Tuesday night in Yorkshire. That was right on par with that. That was an absolute stink pile. So, I think it's a little bit underrated, that one. Yeah, but I guess I do have to give way to what is the best ever ODI innings played by Maxi. And it's not just that, gents, and Maxi, Vaughany, or in fact all of you, I'd be interested. Is this an overstatement? I reckon it's the innings that could potentially save one-day cricket. I think the way this is being acknowledged, how long this will be acknowledged for, and I suspect it'll be a little while until anyone gets anywhere near it, particularly from the match situation. But if you reflect back at the short history of T20 cricket, there's been some phenomenal stuff, hasn't there? There's been, miraculous victories when it's all lost and looks forlorn situation and you can bash your way out of it. But this is the beauty of one-day cricket that I think we've all forgotten. You've got time for the story to be told. You've got time for games to look like they've been lost. You can consolidate, rebuild, and then relaunch, whereas T20 doesn't allow that. I reckon this innings, mate, and it's a credit to you, Maxi, is that it's been copped a lot of criticism, ODI cricket. We wrote it off in the first episode of our World Cup podcast. This will be the last World Cup in history. But I reckon... Do you get what I'm saying, guys? I reckon this makes people sit back and rethink their perspective of the one-day game.
I think so.
Silence. So you're all in agreement there?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, I know that what you're going to say, Vaughany. You're going to say something about England getting into the Champions Trophy as saved one-day cricket.
Yeah, I was going to mention.
Ollie, you'll say something dumb like that.
Yeah, the England.
Well, I actually was just doing my due diligence because that's my only job here, and I've got bad news. The ton in Scarborough was actually on a Saturday, not a Tuesday, so I don't know if it counts as much as one of the great 8th of August, 2015. So I'm not sure.
Would have been a solid Friday night for me then. So that's
Correct.
nice.
Correct. Can you just Google Glenn Maxwell on that Friday night, how many pints he had? I reckon it'll be into the 15-20s. So that means he qualifies to be the great. If you have over 50,
we might
qualify.
We'll get the CCTV footage.
Please don't.
Now, gents, it is a Cricket World Cup. Oh, sorry, I agree with you, Gilly. Exactly what you said. And because all I'm picturing is the movie, and we've now learned that it's going to be Hugh Jackman playing Glenn Maxwell.
Yeah.
We've learned that that's going to happen. He's going to come out. Maybe Marnus Labuschagne is Willem Dafoe or someone like that looks a bit like him. And you build this innings, and you go from hat trick ball all the way through cramping. Walking up those stairs. I think, yep, this is it. This is the rebirth of one-day cricket. So well done. You should be asking for more money, Maxi, basically, I think, at the end of all of that.
I've always said that I've been underpaid, so yeah.
Maxi, can I just, you've got an 8-year-old child, which, I've gone through that stage. What I'm intrigued by, you're
8 week.
8 week.
Sorry, 8 weeks. You're obviously an aggressive player. What's your nappy changing technique? Are you in and out, or do you take your time?
Well, we had a bit of a nightmare on the bus from Mumbai to Pune, where had a bit of an accident on the bus, and there was a bit of an explosion, and I thought the way that I dealt with adversity on a moving bus was probably more impressive than the events a couple of days ago. So I was pretty proud of my work there, but once I was done, handballed him straight back to the wife, and went back to laying back on the bus and trying to get some shut eye.
You would have been popular on the bus. I know what it's like. I've got a 2-year-old. If a 2-year-old goes on a bus, you are the least popular person on there. So you do have to get it done quick. I get it.
Well, we had the families on one bus together. So there was three or four kids all on the bus, and they were all brilliant, to be honest. They didn't really make a peep the whole time. Most of them were asleep. So still a long journey. Hard work getting into Pune during the middle of the day. Traffic is absolutely shocking.
Traveling to Pune, dealing with Pune, if you know what I mean.
You took my line there.
Terrible, but I'll allow it.
Oh, that was my line, but I had one more thing with the Hugh Jackman. If he's busy and can't do your role, I want to put forward Roelof van der Merwe to play you, because another all-rounder, obviously. And we saw a tweet, thanks to Vaughany from Somerset Cricket. Glenn Maxwell's sensational innings for Australia yesterday was only the second time in the history of List A cricket that a player batting at 6 or lower had scored more than 150 in a successful chase. First person to do it, Roelof. So he knows exactly what it's about.
Go the Bulldog. Go the Bulldog.
I remember watching the highlights of that. That was unbelievable. He hit so many pull shots over backward point. Oh, I've never seen anything like it.
Very, very good. Now we are
nice.
We are a Cricket World Cup show, so we need to do a couple of other
Yeah.
results.
Yeah.
Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, that was a few days ago. Obviously, Bangladesh, they won by 3 wickets. We all know the controversy that surrounded the Matthews wicket, the timed out. It's a couple of days old now. Did anybody want to comment on that?
Can't be
I
asked.
totally disagree with Michael Vaughan's take on it. I saw Vaughany, your take on it, and I totally disagree with you.
But what was my
What was
take?
your take?
The laws say it was out. He was out. But you're going against the laws of the game.
Oh, sorry. What about the pot calling the kettle black then? What happened to Lords? Jesus. So we've been carrying on like pork chops since.
Well, wait a minute. I said that was out as well. The laws of the game.
Yeah, no, I'm
Johnny Bairstow was out. The laws of the game say Angelo Matthews was out.
I'm talking about your wanker team at the moment. What are they carrying on about? No. That's all just setting good fun. No, it was. It looked like a pretty heated, spicy little affair, that. But I don't know whether that's the way it should have gone. I know the laws of the game on that one are there, but yeah, it's probably not the way I would have rolled.
What I liked about Angelo the next day is when he posted on, I think it was on X on Twitter, proof. And he'd had his, I think the statter had put the time elapsed in the screen, which was, I don't know what the time was. And then he proved that he got out to the middle and he was 5 seconds before the 2 minutes. So it could have been given a bit of leeway. Then I think the umpires have come out yesterday, Richard Illingworth, and said he gave him 30 seconds to get ready when he walked on the pitch. And he took his time. Look, if he'd have gone to Shaq here and said, look, my helmet's broke, I think it'd be fine. I think he'd say, yeah, swap your helmet. Or just face the ball. Face one ball with a strap.
Yeah, just face it. Hey, Maxi, you do not need to divulge too much information here that's going to incriminate you in any way. But I'm just thinking, do teams, are you aware of any teams, now that the field restrictions change if you are overtime, bowling your overs first, that when batting first try to slow things down, take that extra 30 seconds? Are you aware, or do you ever feel like there's been teams trying to do that as a tactic?
I'm not sure if they're doing it deliberately, but there are teams that you're playing against that are certain batters that are very, very slow to get in position, even in between balls. Like, and I know we've got some bowlers that aren't generally the quickest to get through their overs, but even they're waiting at the top of their mark, waiting for the batter to face up. So there's been a couple of times where Hazelwood and Stark, who have run-ups that are outside the circle, have started their run-up and the batters sort of put their hand up and gone, no, not ready yet. And it's frustrating because it feels like we're trying to fight against, obviously with 3 big quicks off long run-ups. We know that maybe between me and Zamps, we've got to bowl our overs extra fast, instead of what we should be doing is really concentrating and making sure that we're doing our role properly. But it feels like we've got to make up so much time between the two of us that sort of detracts from that a little bit. So there are a few teams and few individual players that we definitely play against and go, umpires, can you just keep an eye on this? Because they walk away to square leg, come back, tap the wicket for 20 minutes, and then take their guard 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, Maxi, the English have always been a bit like that, though, haven't they? A little bit.
Maxi, after that Matthews timed out wicket, were you guys conscious of it the next day? Is that why Zampa was scrambling up and down those stairs? Were you thinking, God, I got to get out there?
To be fair, when I went out to bat, I was like, I didn't even know the rule that you had to be 2 minutes, because as soon as you lose a wicket, all you do is just get yourself together, get your gloves, your helmet, and you walk out there. You don't sort of think about the time, apart from T20. Yeah. T20, you know you've got, 90 seconds or whatever it is to face up, and it was pretty obvious in the BBL with basically the shot clock going up.
Yeah.
To face up, but in ODI cricket, I have never thought about it once, and that's, I suppose, the first time it's probably come to light. And I just finished batting at training and sat there and was watching the TV and could not believe what I was sort of seeing. And everyone that was walking in is like, you won't believe what's just happened. He's just been timed out. And they're like, no, surely this couldn't happen. So, but yeah, it was pretty amazing. I don't know why he didn't just face a ball without the helmet, because then at least you allow yourself as much time as you possibly want. And as long as you don't sweep the first ball into your chompers, you should be fine.
It was totally remarkable, and there were plenty of hot takes on it. The main one from Angelo Matthews' brother, Trevin. I don't know if you saw this, but he says he's not welcome in Sri Lanka, and we will throw stones at him. So it's very lucky that in February and March, it's actually Bangladesh going to Sri Lanka. Sorry, Sri Lanka going to Bangladesh and not the other way around, because Trevin has said we'll throw stones at him. Punchy.
Good old-fashioned stoning.
Jeez, oh,
Wow.
jeez, oh. All right, the other result that we probably need to touch on is the two, as we describe them, emerging cricket nations. England took on the Netherlands, and a big congratulations to England. Great win for them. England by 160 runs. They got 9 for 339. And then the Dutch, who are our favourite team behind Australia on this podcast, they got 179. Vaughany, you were there. You called the game. Any big takeaways other than Stokesy's 100?
Nah.
Fantastic. Let's take a look.
Well, Vaughany, you did tell me that they're a bit annoyed by getting the win because they're now in 7th, which means they have to cancel the golf trip in 2025 that's non-refundable. Yeah, well, so they are annoyed.
I know they were looking at going down to Augusta, so they'll be a bit pissed off with qualifying.
Yeah, irresponsible that.
Very, very good. All right, well, that were the 3 results while we were away. We've obviously covered Australia's big win against Afghanistan. Now, the other thing is, Maxi, there's a couple of other awards that we like to give away on this show. There is the Dwayne Leverock Medal, which is for the achievement by a Minnow of the week. Do we have any nominations? Ollie, I see you've got one there.
I put in, Ibrahim Zadran. He lost the game, but the first ever World Cup century for an Afghanistani. So 129 not out, carried his bat.
Max, have you got something to say?
No, I know exactly where your head's going right now. I'm not going to say it.
No, I'm with you there, Ollie. Zadran's 100 was tremendous. Enjoyed the way that he played. He spoke to Sachin. I thought that was lovely. Afghanistan the day before. Sachin, the legend, the master, arriving at the Wankhede, giving a nice chat. No doubt he'll have given them a tour of his statue of Steve Smith. Yeah, so that was nice. So I like the way he played. And then suddenly, what I liked about Zadran, from 0 to 100, he played like Jonathan Trott, his coach, just kind of knocked it around nicely. As soon as he got to 100, he played like Viv.
I did say when he got to his 100, I was like, that was a good 100 for 1995. and then his next 12 balls went for like, he got like 42 off his next 12 balls. And I went, I should have said that.
Yeah. No, I'm happy to go with him. Just eclipsing England in that one.
Very good. Who's been BazBalled is the other award, Maxi. Yeah. Who has been, I guess, in the spirit of BazBalling? Vaughany, who have you got?
I'm afraid I'm going to have to pick Mujeeb. Maxi's BazBalled him. You know, not just... Maxi, can I just ask, do you know when Mujeeb got brought on towards that back end, was your head thinking, just win the game, or were you thinking, you know what, in this over, I can get my own personal double century, I can bring up the double century partnership with me and Pat, and I can win the game. And he was the person that dropped me on 30 odd. I can really ruin his night. Did you think that?
Well, so I've played IPL with Mujeeb in I think it was like 2020 or 2021, and I spent every training session facing him, and we had some funny battles, and like we'd sort of do last over scenarios against each other. It was a lot of fun, and when he came on, that was the first over he'd come on to the slightly shorter boundary. And I did say to Pat early, like a couple of overs before, as soon as it gets under a certain amount, I'm going to try and do it in 1 over, and we're done. And I changed my gloves, had a drink, and Patty goes, "Oh, what are you thinking here?" I said, "We'll get it done this over. It's fine."
It's unbelievable.
That's fun.
That's cool.
I did have doubts. I did have doubts after my first ball was like a filthy swipe across the line inside edge and a pad that trickled away. I was like, what was that? That was disgusting.
So when you said it will be done this over, did you mean win or did you mean defeat? Just to check that. Yeah, it was win. Was it? Yeah.
Either way.
One or the other. Boys, did you have any who's been BazBalled nominations? Vaughany?
It's just Mujeeb.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Agreed.
Congrats to Mujeeb. Let's take a look forward. Fixtures to come. we've touched on New Zealand, Sri Lanka, which is meant to be happening tonight, Vaughany. But you've got your weatherman hat on, and you're saying you're predicting rain.
Well, yeah, the last few days in Bangalore, it's come down in buckets. There's been floods on the street. I'm led to believe the thunderstorms again today. I mean, New Zealand Fuckers Aman was magnificent, but the rain certainly helped Pakistan to get them that win against New Zealand. But New Zealand have been lucky if they get done by the rain again. I mean, they've got to beat Sri Lanka, but my personal opinion is I wouldn't mind the rain. So then New Zealand end up on 9 points, and then Pakistan can still reach the semi-final. I want India-Pakistan in the semi-final in Calcutta. I just think it's what the World Cup needs. Whether it happens, it's still a bit of a long shot, but Pakistan are still going to beat, obviously, the mighty England on Saturday to get to 10 points. But I hope it gets to the stage where if Pakistan beat England, there'll be an India-Pakistan semi-final.
There you go, Gilly.
Sounds like a fairly decent little event to promote that one, I would have thought.
Who do you like out of
Can you, sorry, Ollie, just make sure you clip up there that Vaughany hopes England lose. Just get that one.
I do. I mean, they're in the big one already. I think they've already qualified for the big trophy in 25. So they've done the work. They've got it done.
Yep.
Now we just want the big spectacle of an India-Pakistan semi-final.
Maxi, for you, which is the more dangerous side, do you think? New Zealand or Pakistan, or is it much of a muchness?
They've both got some pretty good players. I think with the way Pakistan's bowling attack's going at the moment, I think they're probably the most dangerous going forward. But the way Ratchet and Ravindra's playing at the moment, geez, he's going to be an absolute superstar. Doesn't look like he's ever missed the middle of the bat in his life. He's just got a beautiful bat swing, lovely temperament, and he's been good to watch.
He got a double century up north this year.
Oh, yeah! Wow.
How many pints the night before though?
I'll have to ask him that. I don't think too many, so he doesn't put himself in the great category. So I think he did. He got a double century for Durham up north. It wasn't in Yorkshire, but it was up north.
Yeah, he's in the game. He's in the conversation.
Look into it. Friday night, we've got South Africa, Afghanistan. That's at Ahmedabad. South Africa, have they already secured their spot in second?
Yeah.
I believe so. Yep. So they'll take on most likely, they'll take on Australia. Australia has Bangladesh on Saturday.
Maxi,
how are the cards going to be?
Bangladesh, just as a team, any chance you can time any of their players out just for a bit of a giggle?
I think it's got to be a progression. I think we've got to man-catch someone first. Run them out at the non-strike first. I think we've got a fair way to go before we get someone timed out. Or maybe even just a handled ball when they throw the ball back to the fielder when it's just sitting there stationary. I don't know. We need to get sort of venture into that space and make ourselves comfortable with the laws of cricket. I think we've been too nice in that way. We need to start pissing a few more people off. We'll see how we go.
Yeah, you've been a bit too New Zealand. They're always a bit too nice, aren't they? So, yeah, get that ugly Aussies back.
Yeah, wasn't that just a nice game to watch? Everyone just gets 800 runs. That's nice. It's okay. We'll take it just deep enough. We'll still win. It was just a nice game for everyone. Oh, geez, the views in Dharamshala are beautiful, aren't they?
Yes. Very spiritual up there, isn't it?
England, they take on Pakistan on Saturday. Pakistan need to... in the event that it's a washout tonight, do Pakistan need to put on a heap of runs on England to get their net run rate up?
No, if it's a washout, they just need to win. If New Zealand win today, Pakistan will have to win by a really big margin. I mean, obviously, Afghanistan, if they beat South Africa, they can get to 10, but their net run rate is behind Pakistan. So it all depends on today's game. If New Zealand win today, I think it'll be too much for Pakistan in terms of they could hammer England, you never know, but I think it'll be too big a margin that they'll have to.
Yeah.
And then the big game that we talked to Rolly about, the big finale of the pool matches. India, they take on the Netherlands.
Mm-hmm.
After talking to Rolly, he was pretty confident. So I like the Dutch in this one. I don't know about you guys.
I'm going 50. The big 5-0. Virat's going to churn it out in this one and then leave it. Won't leave it for the final or the semi-final. He's going to churn it out here.
Well, so you think? Wow, you think they're going to get a wicket? That's actually good. Okay, well done.
What are you shaking your head at?
I think the Dutch are going to bat first, and I don't think there's going to be that many runs.
Oh, right. Okay.
The way that the Indian bowling attack is bowling at the moment,
Yeah.
good luck. Like, geez,
Mate, absolutely.
they've been impressive. Mate, Mohammed Shami's team is the straightest thing in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Carpenters would love to get straight angles like that. Like,
Just Maxi, on their attack, is there anything as a team that I know they're moving it around corners, the bowling great. Is there anything as a team that you could do to kind of just nullify that consistency that they're producing?
You try a reverse lap or two early on, see what happens. I don't know. I think one of the key things that I think we've found against India, if you can get the ball, I suppose, scuffed up early enough, like play a few shots, even if it is swinging, just be fortunate, take them on, try and get some sort of age into the cricket ball, and if you can get it to stop swinging early enough and make them go to spin early enough, at least you can put them under a little bit of pressure. And I think we've found that teams that try and go defensively against them in the power play, you're just a sitting duck. You're going to basically bring them back into the game. Shami's too good with the new ball if you don't take him on. We know how good Boomer is. And Siraj is a wicket taker, so he might be the guy that people try and take on and try and get under. But when he's hooping it late outswing is so hard to face. And he's got it on a string at the moment.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. Hey, we are running out of time here. We've kept Maxi a long time, and he's got his 8-year-old he needs to look after.
He doesn't know who the 8-year-old belongs to, but there's one just walking around the room.
We have been on for a long time.
Just quiet. Yeah. Can you imagine that? An 8-year-old nappy. Can you imagine that?
Oh,
I mean, an 8-year-old, it's a little bit slippy, isn't it? You can kind of wipe that away quickly, but an 8-year-old.
In India.
Oh.
Oh, God. Right, come on, let's move it on.
Yeah, all right, Ollie, all we've got left to do is quiz and the toast. Take it away, Ollie.
Let's go back into the quiz. Here we go. Who has the most runs? Gilly in test matches, Vaughany in test matches, or Glenn Maxwell in ODIs and T20 internationals?
Put forward. Maxi.
Yeah, Maxi. Maxi's played forever.
Maxi?
Vaughany.
Okay. We have...
How many runs did you get, Vaughany?
No, Gilly.
We have... The answer is...
My answer's in.
The answer's in, and the answer's correct. Glenn Maxwell, 651, but not far behind, 5,719, and Vaughany and 5,570 Gilly. So close.
What was Maxi's? 6,500, was it?
No, just 6,051.
6,051. Right.
6,051. But 1 point for each of you, 0 for Maxi. Question number 2. Who has hit more ODI sixes, Maxi or Gilly?
Oh, Maxi.
Good question.
Maxi. I've gone in quick there. I've not thought about that. Yeah, I've gone. But he hit.
How many games do you play, Gil?
280 something? 280, 270?
Oh, no.
How many you played?
It has to be 140.
Oh, sure.
Vaughany's locked in, Maxi.
You're laughing at me, Vaughany. I'm considering myself, aren't you?
Well, Gilly's made 1800s.
In ODIs?
Yeah.
16.
That's. I'm saying
I
Gilly.
reckon I was about 176s.
Yeah, I reckon
So
way less.
Well, you hit
I'm
60.
going Maxi. He hit 10 last night, 2 days ago.
Adam Gilchrist.
Adam Gilchrist, 149. Glenn Maxwell, 150.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Hold on. How many goes do you play? How many goes
Bloody
do you play?
hell. A lot more than you, but tell you what, Mujeeb's got a bit to answer for. Jesus, serving that tripe up. Holy dooly.
Perfect. Okay. Well done all round. Score update from the prof.
We know Vaughany got it right.
Yeah, so Vaughany's on 2, Maxi and
0.
Gilly on 1, Maxi on donut.
No, Gilly got it
I
right.
went Maxi.
2
I
2
went
0.
Maxi.
2,
Yeah.
0.
Okay,
I didn't
number
realise I
three.
was doing the score. I was just watching and enjoying. Sorry. Here we go.
Number 3. What is higher? Number 3. Vaughany's test batting average or Maxi's test bowling average?
Vaughany, what's your average?
And that's giving it away. Max chest bowling average.
I'm
Did you
going.
average 50?
I'm going.
No.
I'm going Max's bowling average.
Maxi's bowling too. I'm going Maxi's bowling.
Maxi?
Yeah, I'm going my bowling average.
Vaughany 41.44, Maxi 42.62. Only one in it.
So that's
The offer
3
mark.
3 3
3, 3,
1.
1.
To be
Question
fair,
number 4.
I did have all subcontinent tests, so I did get a little bit of help.
Yes. Yeah.
Number 4, what is higher? Maxi's List A wickets, Vaughany's first class wickets, or Gilly's stumpings in first class and List A? So, Maxi in List A wickets, Vaughany first class wickets, Gilly List A and first class stumpings.
Oh, me.
Well, that should include Test cricket for Gilly.
First
No.
class.
Yeah, you wouldn't have
No.
played a lot.
First class. Test cricket's first class, isn't it?
I'm going to go.
Yeah.
I might gamble on my wickets.
Hang on. Are we including test cricket?
On Crick Info, no, I don't think it includes it.
First class cricket is test cricket. So
Yeah,
it would
it is all
include
that.
It does include it. Fine.
yeah.
All
I'm
right.
going
Well,
Maxi.
I'll go Gilly then, if that's
Same.
the case.
All going Gilly. Okay. Maxi 114, Vaughany 114. Maxi 114, Gilly 114. Sorry, Maxi 114, Vaughany 114, Gilly 120. Only just, but it is Gilly. You two drawn 114 each for Vaughany and Maxi.
Wickets.
114. And by the way, that is on that's on wet wickets in Yorkshire.
Oh,
You know,
that's
they
what I'm
told-
stunned about. I
Ball,
had no doubt
ball
to do.
slipping
he
out
was
of your
up there.
hands.
I don't spin
We
it.
need to do a show from the Yorkshire pitch where we
Yeah.
sit around.
Wow, so we've got a 4-4-1. So you was going to go last question. Last question is, what is higher? Vaughany's test sixes, Gilly's T20 average, or Maxi's ODI 50s?
Oh.
Wow.
T20 internationals or all T20?
That'll be internationals.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm low.
Yeah, you wouldn't have played too many, Gil. would you? I'm going.
No, I only played about 13 or something.
Maxi.
Yeah, I'm going. Here you go. I'll go Vaughany.
Hold on. Vaughany's
Vaughany's test sixes, Gilly's T20 international average, Maxi's ODI 50s.
Well,
You can't have hit 25 sixes, Vaughany.
Nah. I might have top edged a few.
yeah,
Maxi?
I'm gonna go me on that one.
Okay, so we've got Vaughany's test sixes at 22.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm ahead of that.
Gilly's T20 average 22.26.
was.
Maxi's ODI 50s 23.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, well done.
Oh, hang on. Maxi's saying 24.
Oh,
Have they-
Have you, Maxi, have you updated your Crick Info? Because it says 23 here.
Either way, it's a
Either
win for
way.
Maxi.
And it's a win for Vaughany.
Whatever.
And a win
It
for
is.
Vaughany. Congrats, Vaughany. You are
It
our
is.
quiz master
Yeah.
on Club Prairie Fire this
Well
week.
done.
Now, we've kept Maxi a long time here. All that's left to do is our Club Prairie Fire toast. If you'd like to lead us here, Gilly.
I will, and I have reached straight for some A-grade stuff for good reason. The Don Julio 1942. Maxi, I'm not sure if you are a tequila fan, but this is good stuff. As I say, for good reason. Drink responsibly, as you always have. This is a Prairie Fire. It's the whole genesis of this podcast is for us to associate ourselves responsibly with tequila. And the fellowship that it brings. It's been wonderful to have you on here, mate. And I tell you, this is a toast to the innings that has saved one-day international cricket. It was a masterclass. It was extraordinary for everyone to experience. Congratulations, mate, and thanks so much for joining us. Cheers, cheers.
Thanks, Maxi.
Thank you.
Cheers, Maxi.